Hey, hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're checking out a Master Grade Gundam kit here. It's the Wing Gundam Proto Zero EW kit, and this is one that obviously is not a new kit. This came out all the way back in 2013, but I've always wanted to build this kit. I always thought it was a great looking kit, but I just never ever got around to building it, so that's what we're going to do here today. Let's go ahead and check out the Proto Zero. Alright, first off, let's start off with this beautiful box art here. Always loved the box art here for this kit. Never really that big of a fan of the Wing Gundam transformations, but you have it transformed there in flight mode at the bottom. You also have a little sneak peek at the Mercurius and the Vey there in the background. Obviously those don't have master grades, but would love to see those in master grade form. Over here on the side of the box, we have all the same information there, and as you can see, it's a relatively thin box here for this one. Even though this is not a Verka release, the bottom of the box here are looking very Verka, with this being a Katoki design, I believe anyway. So there's a front and back look at the painted kit in Neo Bird mode there, a couple of detail images over here, and also showing some of the weapons and accessories in there as well. A little bit more about the gimmick. And around on the top of the box, there it is in the action pose, basically what we have on the front of the box. We have some text over here and a little bit more about the Endless Waltz Glory of Losers. That's one thing to point out. This is a EW release, and one thing that I think people don't notice sometimes, when they think Endless Waltz, they think the Gundam Wing Endless Waltz movie. This is actually Endless Waltz Glory of Losers, so it's actually all the EW kits are based off of the Glory of Losers novel series, not actually the Endless Waltz movie. Let's go ahead and get it opened up here. Check out our contents inside. I want to take a look at the instruction manual here first, which got a little folded there, unfortunately, but it's the same box art minus the background, or just with a white background there, which does look very cool, I gotta say. Around here on the back side, here is our painting guide, along with some nice reference images there. Also a little bit about the 1-point technique, and then painting guide for our hero UE pilot figure as well. On the inside, we have the new mobile reports Gundam W. Over here, some text in Japanese, along with the Katoki illustrations and images here of the Wing Gundam Wing story playback. Again, just some text and images there from the TV series and illustration there of Hiro. Next page, we have our parts list, and then into the construction of the kit. But if we go to the center pages, we have a whole bunch more here, images and text. Really cool images here of the kit on the inside. This is obviously from 2013, was before we were getting any English in the manuals, unfortunately, but there's probably some very cool text in there just about the Gundam. Construction is going to carry on to the very last page here. We have our marking guide for the kits, and that's going to be about it for the instructions. For other contents here, we've got some foil stickers there for the eyes and cameras and stuff, so nothing too much there, pretty normal. We've also got some dry transfer decals here, looks like. Not too many, but a few of those. If you're a fan of dry transfers, I'm not particularly that much. And then we have our sticker decal sheets. Now this is unfortunately not water slides, but just marking stickers there, but you can use those on the kit as well. Alright, getting into the runners, then we've got some polycaps here, PC205, not too many of them, just a few polycaps in gray. Runner SB4 here in a fluorescent clear green for our beam saber effect parts, going all the way back to the year of 2000, which I believe came out first with the Wing Zero custom master grade kit, sort of fittingly, so that's kind of interesting. We do have an included base here, base 2, a nice base to have, although I'm not a huge fan because it has 0 articulation, so it will hold the kit up, but it won't really be able to do that much else with your kit. Runner A here, then we have some more parts in clear green at the top. We've got some red over here, some blue at the bottom, and then a sort of slightly purplish gray color here. Runners B and C are going to be all of our white parts here for the kit, in a very, very bright white. Here's runner C, we've got 2 of those. And then runners D, E, and F are going to be all of our inner frame parts here in medium gray. So there's runner D, runner E, we have 2 of those, and then runner F here as well. Then for some smaller runners, runners G1 and G2 here are yellow accent parts in a nice orangish yellow. Runner H we have 2 of for some red parts there. And then runner I we have 2 of as well for some more parts here in blue, and that's it. Alright guys, so here is the kit all built up, and it is really cool design. I love how it's like a very sleek, modernized version of the classic TV version of the Wing Zero here with the Proto Zero, and while I do still hope that we will get a TV version Master Grade Wing Zero at some point, I think in the meantime this one is really cool, and obviously this has been out for a while, so a lot of you guys have probably already built this kit before if you've been interested in it or you've seen a little bit about it, but building this kit now a decade after its original release, I have to say it definitely holds up very well. And while I think there's definitely some things that you could do to improve the look of it just straight out of the box, we'll go ahead and talk about that here in a minute. Let's go ahead and start off by taking a look at our included accessories. And so obviously its main accessories are going to be here on the kit already. Here we've got the shield and the twin buster rifles. We'll talk a little bit more about those here in just a second. We've also got our 1/100 scale Hiro Yui figure here as well. Then our hand options are just going to be swappable fingers, so you can make either closed fists, holding hands, which we'll use for the beam sabers. You have open expressive fingers here like this, and then also trigger finger extended finger parts here, which we're going to use for the rifles. We've got our two clear neon green beam saber effect parts. The beam saber handles are stored up here in the top of the shoulder, kind of a cool gimmick. Open this up, there's your handle right there. You can pull that out, and then that will just work in the hand using a peg in the handle that will fit into this peg here in the holding fingers. And then of course we've got our included display base. This base is okay. It's not great because it doesn't really have any articulation to it at all, but it will work to hold up the kit. Now interestingly, this connection that we have here for this doesn't fit up underneath the waist section as normal. It actually fits right here into the backpack, so it's going to hold the kit here at the back, which should work well to hold up the kit in a way that looks cool, but again, yeah, it doesn't really allow you for too much articulation there on the base itself. But for that, we have a regular action base adapter, which you can use on just a standard action base, and this will clip up underneath the waist as normal. We also have this adapter piece for holding the kit up when it's transformed into Neo Bird mode, but this is only able to be used with the included stand. This is not one that will work on a regular action base. Unfortunately, no stand for holding the Neo Bird mode onto an action base. I think probably what you would have to use is this adapter, hold on to the waist, and I'm not sure it would hold onto it very well. As for the shield, it doesn't really necessarily do anything. You do have that clear green part right there, and just as a reminder, you did have these foil stickers. I didn't really use them except for the eyes, just because all of these parts that you would use for the green stickers are made up as clear green parts here in the chest, the center, and then the sides, and then the head cameras. It's all clear green parts. The eyes as well, I just use the eye stickers just because having that black outline just makes it a little bit nicer, easier to see the eyes on there. But yeah, the shield here is pretty cool. You have some really teeny tiny little gray parts right there that are going to go in for some gun barrels on the sides. On the bottom, here's where it's going to attach into the side of the arm, and it's a pretty strong, solid connection there. In Neo Bird mode, there's going to be some transforming going on with this. For example, these little wings here on the sides are going to pop out like that, and those are geared together so that just pushing one or pulling one will actually move both at the same time, which is always kind of cool. And yeah, like I said, our twin buster rifle, of course, can be separated into two separate ones. You're just going to fold the connection part here in the center back in on both of them, fold that in, and then the main handle will fold out. When you have them connected, you need to only use one of the handles, right? So one you're going to fold up, and you're just going to use the one. But obviously in two hands, we need our two separate handles. Pretty cool design for these, and some nice part separation, nice color separation there for those. Nice details all around. I'm not a huge fan of the Neo Bird mode, but I will show you guys what that looks like here in a little bit once we take a look at some different poses with the kit. But just to talk a little bit more about the kit itself, the cockpit does open up. Basically, you're just going to pull that straight out, and you can see our seated pilot figure is right down inside of there. Pretty easy. And you'll notice, maybe hopefully you guys are noticing, or I would assume you're noticing, one of the issues that I have with this case straight away is that the white is super bright white, which is fine, and that's the color that it's supposed to be. But I would definitely recommend doing a little bit of panel lining. A lot of these pieces don't really have a lot of panel line or details that you could really do much with. Like here on the front skirts, there's a little bit, some here and there, but anywhere where there's panel lines or detail lines, I would recommend just using a gray panel line marker to bring out those details and breaking up the white, because there's a lot of very bright white that the details are just going to kind of be lost in, unfortunately, and even here on the yellow parts as well. So I would definitely recommend doing at least a little bit of panel lining on this kit just to help bring out those details. Aside from the cockpit opening, these parts up here on the top of the torso also open up for our kind of Vulcan machine guns in there. Kind of tricky to get to it, because you have to kind of lift the whole part up and then open up the front part, and there you have that cool detail inside, very similar to the Wing Zero custom, I guess, but just for an added accessory in there. Otherwise, like I said, yeah, really nice and pretty solid feeling build. You have a good amount of articulation in here. As you can see, these parts here on the back are also geared so that when you open the one side, it opens both sides at the same time, which again is pretty cool. I'll demonstrate more of the articulation to you guys just through taking a look at some different poses here in just a second. But overall, like I said, for being a decade old, over a decade old, I think this kit holds up very, very well. The articulation is great, and like I said, the kit overall feels super solid. Let's go ahead and take a look at some poses here, including the Neo Bird mode, which like I said, I'm not a huge fan of, but it does pull it off pretty well, I guess, anyway. And like I said, the included stand is nice that there's at least a stand included, and it does hold the kit in a pretty nice way. Sometimes connection onto the back of some of these kits just works a little bit better than up underneath the waist, and so that works pretty well. I wish that we would have had an adapter piece to be able to attach onto the back using a standard action base, but anyway, no matter how you have it based up, this is definitely one of those kits that's going to look much better up on a base anyway than in any sort of grounded pose, but you can absolutely make it stand. Despite having those wings on the back, it is going to be a little bit back heavy, but you absolutely can make it just stand flat on the ground, or doing some sort of grounded action pose, you can absolutely do that as well. The only issues you're really going to have with the kit when it comes to posing is that the Buster rifles, especially when you have them connected together, can be a little bit heavy, so it might be kind of tricky to get the hand and arm to work with you to be able to hold up those twin Buster rifles when they're connected, but separated, they're light enough that you shouldn't really have too much issue. And the shield as well, just being connected onto the side of the arm, doesn't cause you any issues either. So a pretty great kit overall that basically comes with anything that you could possibly want for it. So I really am quite happy with this release. I'm glad I finally, after many years, got the chance to build it and share this with you guys. There is one more thing I will point out to you just as a final note. There is a seam line on the thigh armor, on the sides of the thigh armor. It's kind of the really only notable seam on this kit, and I think it would be a pretty straightforward modification if you did want to get rid of that, but otherwise a good solid build that I could highly recommend. So let me know if you guys have built this kit. What do you think about it? Are you fans of this version? Would you prefer a TV version of Wing Zero, or do you just like this design more? Let me know in the comments what you think about the kit, and if you want to check out this kit or other master grade kits, other Bandai Gunplay, you can check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. We've got all sorts of cool stuff there for you guys to check out. And as always, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, making sure that you're subscribed, it's all very helpful, and I appreciate your guys' support. Thank you so much. Until next time, hope y'all have a great day. Bye guys.